I realized I have not tuned into PragerU in quite some time. I don't even know what those little gremlins are up to nowadays, you know? And what did I find other than a video posted only 3 days ago called Elon Musk versus the woke mind virus? And apparently this is going to be a 4-minute video sucking Elon. So this might get pornographic, everybody. Brace yourselves.
I mean, you have talked about this woke mind virus.
Yes.
In really apocalyptic terms.
Yeah.
You should explain why you don't think it's hyperbole to say things like it's pushing civilization towards suicide. First of all, what is the woke mind virus? And if we don't deal with this, nothing else can get done. Tell me why you think that.
I think we need to be very cautious about anything that is anti-meritocratic and anything that is that results in the suppression of free speech.
Relating to or characteristic of a society in which power is held by people selected according to merit. Oh, a meritocracy is the notion of a political system in which economic goods or political power are vested in individual people based on ability and talent rather than wealth, social class, or race. Okay, yeah, I mean, I would agree generally with this. However, the problem with this is a pure meritocracy ignores systemic factors at play.
And anything that is that results in the suppression of free speech. So, those are two of the aspects of the woke mind virus that I think are very dangerous. Is that
the suppression of free speech? What does that even mean? Literally, where the fuck is the suppression of free speech happening? You have cancel culture, fine, fair, but that's not really suppression. But if you're going to claim that cancel culture is somehow a suppression of free speech, the way this works is we have freedom of speech, which means the government does not really hold people accountable for their speech, as it shouldn't. So that means it's up to society. That means that if somebody says something really racist or something inappropriate, sure, the government might not be able to step in, but members of the neighborhood, members of that community can tell that individual, shut the fuck up. We don't like what you're saying. Stop saying that. Far too often, these dumb shit conservatives think that freedom of speech means freedom from consequences for their speech.
it's often anti-meritocratic. You can't question things. Even the questioning is bad. Another way to almost synonymous would be cancel culture. And obviously people have tried to cancel you many times.
Many times.
Yeah, I mean,
every week.
Yeah.
Cancel culture, you're not allowed to question things. You're allowed to question things. People question things all the time. There's entire shows questioning things like trans people's validity and shit like this. You just have people that are also outspoken against that kind of shit. This is what happens in a society with free speech, Elon.
From left and right. I've had it from both sides.
This is the cancel culture that now pervades America. Yet, people on the left, the very people responsible for it, claim it doesn't exist. Congresswoman...
No, I would actually say there is absolutely such a thing as cancel culture. There's also such a thing as cancel culture going too far. I've seen people get canceled for racist tweets they made back when they were still in high school and things of this nature. I think that's pretty fucking silly, sure. However, nowadays what we have are conservatives labeling any time anybody gets upset with anything they said as cancel culture. Now, when conservatives get up and say something super racist or super offensive or super invalidating towards trans people, and other people say, hey, you're wrong, what you said is inappropriate, and here's why, conservatives can roll over on their back and play victim, crying, cancel culture, oh, they're just trying to cancel me. No one's trying to cancel you, dude. You have a voice, but what comes with that voice is a consequence for what you say.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez mocks those who fear its growing influence. Odds are you're not actually canceled, she tweeted. You're just being challenged, held accountable, or unliked.
That's literally so true, though. Half the time this is true. We just saw them say that Bill Maher got canceled. How is Bill Maher canceled? He has a whole ass show with millions of subscribers. He still is on primetime TV, correct? Where was the successful attempt at canceling him? There was no canceling. It's just people, yes, challenging what someone says or holding somebody accountable for what they said. Again, there is such a thing as cancel culture. There is such a thing as taking that too far. However, I think that half the time it's just conservatives playing victim.
The representatives claim that this is merely accountability culture is common on the left. Don't believe it.
Accountability culture is also necessary because of freedom of speech. Again, because the government does not hold people accountable for their speech, it's up to general society to do that.
He means a duty to explain. Accountability involves confronting a person with their actions in a way that allows them to explain themselves or ask for forgiveness and otherwise continue the dialogue.
There's so many people that have been quote unquote canceled and they'll issue an apology or issue an explanation from their perspective, and then they just move on. Again, I'll go back to 𝕊𝕀𝕄ℙ𝕊 since he was specifically referenced in this video. Where was the canceled?
It seeks to bring all conversation to an end, to strike fear in the public so that no one else dares to speak up. That is cancellation, and it extends far beyond criticism.
But where? Because people are still voicing their opinions. Again, though, like, what does this look like? Oh no, if I say the N-word on Twitter, now I'm gonna get canceled. Oh no, if I ask just a simple question about the Holocaust, you know, like, did it happen or not? Now I'm gonna get canceled. It's just like, you need to give me an example. Sometimes canceling goes too far. Other times it's completely valid. Other times it's totally legit. Other times somebody gets exposed for being a piece of shit.
Cancellation involves social media mobs engaged in public shaming and the creation of blacklists. It seeks the destruction of the career and reputation of anyone who differs with a leftist position.
This is literally not true, considering conservatives have engaged in cancel culture all the time. They've boycotted Target more times than I can count. Anytime something happens that they don't like, they boycott it, they speak against it, they protest it. They engage in cancel culture just the same. And yeah, even more so, good point, chat, Libs of TikTok, that page exists to publicly humiliate and bring hate brigades and hate mobs on trans people or genderqueer people. So this notion that like it's only if you're on the left, only if you refuse to conform to the left, not true. Even gay people are getting canceled nowadays by your fucking standards.
And reputation of anyone who differs with a leftist position. The bullies, says social critic Douglas Murray, want to stop the rest of us talking or thinking.
Gee, so then I guess a lot of religious people are bullies, huh? Because a lot of Christianity requires you to stop thinking or talking or asking many questions and instead just agree. So thank you, PragerUwU, for accidentally outing religious institutions for being quite bullying.
Murray want to stop the rest of us talking or thinking. Virtually no one is immune. Not Kevin Hart, not J.K. Rowling, not Woodrow Wilson, not Drew Brees.
What did some of these people do? Let's see. What did Drew Brees do? Okay, so literally an example of cancel culture they give us is this guy, Drew Brees. He makes a statement. He says something that other people took issue with. He has freedom of speech, so he can say something that people take issue with. Guess what? The people who take issue with what he said also have freedom of speech. They are also allowed to take issue with his statements. So it's funny that they're saying cancel culture seeks to just destroy careers, but they show us 𝕊𝕀𝕄ℙ𝕊, who never had his career destroyed. Then they say cancel culture doesn't allow for people to give apologies. Then they give us an example of somebody who got canceled and then issued an apology and didn't have his career destroyed. He just made a public statement and clarified exactly like what you said should happen and that cancel culture prevents. Why does PragerUwU do this? This just goes to show how stupid the viewers of PragerUwU are. They know that everybody watching is too fucking retarded to actually even do a simple bit of research. They said cancel culture prevents people from being able to offer an apology or an explanation. Instead, it just undermines their career. Then they give us an example in which somebody was supposedly canceled, yet his career wasn't ruined, and he was able to issue a public apology / explanation. So the cancel culture didn't stop him from doing it, dude. Why are you giving us an example of something that doesn't fucking make sense? Do we want to look up some other people? J.K. Rowling, mega transphobe. Woodrow Wilson? Princeton to remove Woodrow Wilson's name from policy school. Princeton University says it is to remove the name of former U.S. President Woodrow Wilson from a building on its campus because of his racist beliefs and policies. He had barred black students from Princeton while serving as university president and spoke approvingly for the KKK. So the school is progressing and no longer wants to be associated with a guy that literally supported the motherfucking KKK, and that to the right is being canceled. See how stupid PragerU viewers are? Woodrow Wilson got canceled. Oh. No, he didn't. We actually have issue now with a lot of his very racist and dumbfuck ideas, and no longer do these schools want to associate with that guy's name. That's not called being canceled. Again, that's accountability, you dipshit. Holy fuck. Can we cancel PragerU for just being retarded?
Not Kevin Hart, not J.K. Rowling, not Woodrow Wilson, not Drew Brees. Not the famous or the unknown, not the living or the dead. So many have been burned at the social media stake.
Even though the examples you just gave us were not all burned at the social media stake. Even J.K. Rowling, although in a bunch of controversy, is still successful. They just had the Harry Potter game, right? That was still successful. J.K. Rowling is still in business. You're not giving any good examples here.
To wonder if the mob is going to run out of victims. But this fire will not burn itself out. We have to stop it. How? First, if you ever find yourself in the cancel culture crosshairs, don't apologize to the mob. Apologize when you've done something wrong, not when you've exercised a constitutional right.
What do you mean exercise a constitutional right? The mob, quote unquote, the people who don't agree with you are also exercising their constitutional rights. Second of all, is it possible that a mob could still be correct? That's the other question. I agree, you should never just cave to the mob because it's a mob. Never do that shit. However, maybe there's a bunch of people angry at you because you said something worth invoking a bunch of anger. I've been attacked before. I've been quote unquote canceled before. I've been in a bunch of controversy before. And you know what that always makes me do? I always reflect on it. And I think, maybe I did say something wrong. Why is everybody so upset with this thing I said? What is it here that is the problem? And I assess it, and from there I decide, okay, do I need to adjust my rhetoric moving forward, or do I stand my ground? And as far as the just don't apologize to the mob, again, it's very possible that you've upset a lot of people because you said something genuinely wrong. It doesn't mean that by virtue of there being a mob, you are wrong, but it could mean that if there's a mob, you may have said something wrong.
Done something wrong, not when you've exercised a constitutional right. And furthermore, your apology won't save you. It merely hands the bullies another victory. Stand firm. The storm will pass. The mob always moves on.
Stand strong. I love how these conservatives just think that they're like warriors in the final Lord of the Rings battle, when in reality they're just a bunch of like fat losers sitting on their couch collecting dust, going on Twitter and getting butthurt that they can't say the N-word.
Second, find allies among reasonable people, not necessarily people who vote the way you do or agree with you on every issue, just people who still believe in free speech and are committed to open dialogue.
I believe in free speech, but I also don't think that cancel culture is everything that this guy is claiming. Am I a reasonable mind? Can we be allies, my friend?
Third, the rest of us must only support institutions and businesses that value free expression. Money talks, which is why...
So you're going to cancel businesses that don't do that?
Money talks, which is why cancel culture is such a potent weapon. People and even big businesses are terrified of losing their incomes. Finally, defend targets of the mob wherever they fall on the political
I love that. People are terrified of losing their income, so you're going to go after the income when their business structure does not align with yours. Not to mention, what does it even mean for a business to be in favor of free speech, considering the business itself also has free speech and freedom of association and whatnot? So what does that even look like?
Defend targets of the mob wherever they fall on the political spectrum. This is a free speech issue. It should unite liberals and conservatives against the left.
What? Defend the target of the mob? So it doesn't matter who it is? So the guy that says he thinks black people should be made into a currency again, and now he's getting canceled on Twitter, I should defend him because he has a freedom of speech? Because of free speech? Are you fucking insane? This, by the way, is like this 2D, pathetic, cartoonish view of politics. Free speech is all that matters to me. Somebody said something racist, somebody denied the Holocaust, somebody said something completely wrong. Well, everybody's upset that they said something wrong, so I'm gonna side with the guy that said the wrong thing? At that point, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not counterculture. You're just a part of the culture, because now whatever you do is dictated by what the mob does or by what the culture does.
We must take on and defeat a cancel culture that would hold a free people hostage in their own society. I'm Paris Dennard for Prager University.
Paris Dennard is a conservative political speaker. He's known for his pro-Trump commentary. He frequently defended Trump and his administration in his CNN appearances. Trump praised Dennard during a White House Black History Month event. Dennard was employed by the Arizona State University's McCain Institute for International Leadership from 2013 to 2015. In 2018, the Washington Post reported that, according to documents and a university official, Dennard had been fired in 2015 from his position as an event director at the Institute for making sexually explicit comments and gestures towards women. Dennard had told a recent college graduate who worked for him that he wanted to have sex with her, and he pretended to unzip his pants in her presence, tried to get her to sit on his lap, and made masturbatory gestures. Ew. A 2014 university report obtained by the Washington Post stated that Dennard did not dispute the claims, but said he made the remarks and gestures jokingly. So could this be a little something, maybe? Maybe this guy is a little butthurt. Has he been canceled? Maybe he thinks that he was canceled. You know? All these women that I sexually harassed, they're canceling me. What happened to my freedom of speech? What is this, communist Russia? Well, Bucktooth Denny's over here is also apparently not really the nicest or friendly guy around women. Again, this is not me canceling. This is just me, bringing up some relevant information. The National Committee has fired Paris Dennard as its national spokesman, according to two people familiar with the move. Following the report, CNN suspended Dennard from his role as a contributor at the network, saying at the time it was looking into the allegations. Dennard, who told the Post the allegations were false. I thought he said they were actually true, but he was joking. So basically, this guy's been fired all over the place now because of him being a creep, it sounds like. So it sounds like this guy's been canceled for good reason before. Sounds like he got fired because he was outed as being really creepy and a sexual harasser of women. So you're telling me right here, this guy who's against cancel culture, against society holding people accountable for the things they say and do, this guy has also done some very questionable things towards women that maybe, just maybe, he would not like to be held accountable. PragerUwU and Paris Dennard, Paris retard, you have been canceled, my friend. This soy wojak libcuck has once again canceled another conservative. Another one bites the dust.